All right, what's up, my brothers? In this video, I want to talk to you about a very common trap that is placed on online dating sites and even online in general. I've seen this with dating profiles and with these pages and sites where women look for men to be sperm donors. So let me just read this dating profile here from, I'm not even going to say her name, but she's late 30s. About me. Educated, beautiful, respectful, successful, sweet girl looking for a respectful, decent man that believes in love or wants to have a child with her and just be co-parents, good/friends. I will be responsible for the child emotionally and financially, but I just want a good father figure. If we fall in love, that's great. If not, then we can have a child together and you can be with your child anytime you want. Wow, that sounds like a pretty good deal. She pays for everything, provides the emotional support, and you get to be a father anytime you want. I'm very easygoing person and drama-free, 100% nothing but good vibes and love for kids. All right, so we need to talk about this because this is some stupid shit that keeps popping up. This is actually a dating profile that one of the guys from my community had dropped in our forum. And I want to bring it up because this is something that I tripped across about 1999. I think it was Plenty of Fish around back then. So this would have been, this would have dated me about 20, 25 years ago. And there was this dating profile that came up, total dime piece, gorgeous, similar sort of lyrics. Of course, we're browser-based at this time. And it was something along the lines of, I want to have a kid, but I don't want a husband. I don't want a man in, my life. I just need a sperm donor. You got to be good looking, tall. I'm going to check out your pictures, make sure you're socially dominant, all the standard stuff. You guys have already heard this before. So I had a conversation with a buddy of mine that's a lawyer who was doing some research on family law. He wasn't practicing family law, but he was reading about it. And I was mentioning this to him. I'm like, because I was actually contemplating this, like, the idiot that I was back then. And, she's chatting me up. Where do you live? How tall are you? Blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. So I'm talking to my buddy and he's like, whoa, hold on a second. I came across case law, and he pulls it up, right? And he shows it to me. He goes, I came across case law that at one point, this woman pulled the exact same sort of stunt in the past, gave the guy the whole lyrics about, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm financially stable, I'm a good person, I can pay for everything, if you want to be a father, you can pop in from time to time and do it. Basically, the entire pitch that they try to sell guys on that'll captivate you is, you can have unprotected sex with me, unload and go home and not worry about anything, and I'll take care of it all. Now, what ended up happening in that scenario was, yeah, that worked out for about 6 or 7 years until her money dried up. I don't know if her financial situation changed, she lost her job, whatever ended up happening, but her financial situation changed so dramatically, she took the father of the kid to court. And guess what? Family court gave her child support and back payments. So regardless of whatever deal, she had sold him on with, I don't want any involvement, I'm financially stable, everything's good, we'll have unprotected sex, you can have fun, blah, 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 and you get to pass on your DNA, but you have no responsibility and pop in, be a father whenever you want. Guess what? Out the fucking window, okay? It's not a way to go for any guy, okay? It is bad, it is serious, it's a trap, let's put it that way, it's a trap, okay? So, another area that I've seen this in as well, which is not on dating sites, but there's these groups. And I'm not going to mention which one I've seen it in constantly, but I sit as a fly on the wall in quite a few different Facebook groups, just kind of watching what these collectives sort of talk about in these different areas. And there's this one where they make posts, an announcement, usually showing pictures of themselves or them and their like lesbian wife or husband or whatever they call themselves, in that particular arena. But they're like, yeah, we need a sperm donor, no obligation. And then they'll make statements about whether or not they'll take it as artificial insemination, which would be like a turkey baster sort of, scenario, or if they do natural, which is where they actually have intercourse. But they basically say, yeah, we're looking for a sperm donor. They have to have these qualities. So they have like a menu list. Generally, it's got to be this ethnicity, must have this degree or a degree equivalent to this, must be at least this height. And sometimes they make preferences for hair color and eye color and stuff like that. But these things pop up a lot. And there's a lot of guys out there that will end up making the donation, whether they do it with turkey baster, or they end up doing it naturally, but they'll make the donation. Now, everything will be fine, I'm sure, if, you know, they have the kid and they're working and they pay the bills. But if they live in a state or a country or a province or somewhere in the West where if financial situations change for them, then they, as all women always do, reserve the right to change their mind at any given time later on down the road. And if family law is allowable in that location, and you don't have a binding contract in place to protect you from any financial obligations or liabilities, because right now I know there's somebody feverishly going, well, I've done this before and I had a contract in place and if it sort of thing. Okay, not all contracts are binding forever, okay? And there could be stipulations in state or provincial law that supersede anything that you contract out. Like, for example, I had a buddy of mine that once thought that he could contract in his marriage. He said, I'm going to contract in my marriage that I got to get at least one BJ once a week, right? That's not enforceable. Just like, you know, you can't enforce if we ever split up, then we're going to have the kids 50-50 sort of thing, right? If family law trumps whatever you contract, then you have to rely on family law. You can't rely on whatever you contract amongst yourselves, right? Because that will always trump it. So you have to be very, very careful with these notions and ideas, you know, from these women that have baby rabies. Now, if you don't know what baby rabies is, I did a video a long time ago about it. I'll put a card up on the top right. You can check it out. But the TLDR version of it, too long didn't read, is that women that have an unnatural obsession with having a child or children, and it usually comes to women later on in their lives where they start to realize they're basically at the end of their reproductive cycle, you know, usually by 30 onwards. So let's say 35, late 30s. Sometimes they even make this acknowledgement in their early 40s. But you can watch that video for a little bit more on that. But the point being is that you have to be very, very careful as a guy. If you use this baseline understanding and realization that you don't have any rights as a guy once the sperm leaves your body, you have no rights to make any decisions after that. It's all, generally speaking, on her. So if she decides 6 years, 10 years down the road that the deal that she struck with you to do whatever no longer works for her, and family law where she lives is going to enforce financial reward from you to her, don't be surprised if you get a fucking legal notice saying that you owe money. And not just for current payments, but quite often for back payments. So be very, very careful, guys. This is a trap. This is a big, big time trap. Sperm donations, dating ads, let's have a baby and everything will be fine. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you for anything. It's a pretty good deal for you because you get to be a father, but you don't have any of the financial burden and you can pop in whenever you want. Bullshit. I'm sure that there is probably somebody right now going, I did that and it worked out just fine. Fucking great for you. But the risk exposure here for most guys is way too high, and I would strongly discourage you from even entertaining this. It was a big joke when the idea of entertaining it for me back in 1999 popped up. Again, it was just an idea to entertain because I thought it was an interesting proposal. You know, interesting proposals always catch your attention for whatever reason. But it's still around today. It's still going around, and I think one of the bigger risks right now are these couples that are pretending either to be infertile or incapable of having children because they're same sex, women obviously, and they look for sperm donors. Guys, don't just think that it's a good deal for you just to run around and scatter your seed with all these randos. And by the way, when you see what these people look, I'm not even going to get into what they look like. You guys can go look it up at some point. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, pin to the top comment. There's a bunch of useful links to my book. You definitely want to read the Unplugged Alpha if you want to square yourself away and make sure you don't make any stupid fucking mistakes. Links to my podcast, my supplement line, all that stuff. You can go check that out, pinned to the top comment. Leave a like and a comment in the video. Let me know what you think. Do you have any experience with this? See you guys in the next video. Peace out.